Hey people, welcome back. Let's go ahead and disassemble the GHK G5. First thing we're going to do is separate the upper receiver from the lower receiver. And to do that, you're going to punch out the rear pin, and the front pin has a flathead screw, which we're going to undo and then punch out the pin. In the first part of the video, we're going to disassemble and reassemble the lower receiver. And then in the second part of the video, we're going to disassemble and reassemble the upper receiver, hop-up unit, and bolt. Timestamps in the description. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's remove the stock. There is an E-clip on the bottom of the hinge. This is the same whether you have the M4 adapter or the original stock. I just use a flathead small enough to pry it off. Just push away from the pin. And then punch out the pin. Next, we're going to remove the magazine release. It's just a screw, so push in the button and rotate counterclockwise. You have to be pushing it out far enough to allow it to move freely. And on the other side, we just have the button and a spring. Just go ahead and set aside the bolt catch. Let's go and take off the grip. There's a Phillips screw down in the bottom of this. Don't lose this nut. This goes right back in there. You'll notice a grub screw right here. That is holding in the rear pin. And there's a spring and ball bearing that should come out. Okay, I was actually wrong. It's not a ball bearing. Little pin. That retains your rear pin. Next up, let's remove the other group screw on the other side, which is the left side of the gun. Oops, don't lose that. Be careful, these grub screws are spring loaded, so they will pop out when you take them out. Before we're able to remove the selector, we have to unscrew this grub screw on the right side on the selector. There we go. And I'm just going to screw that right back in so we don't lose it. And you can just work this fire selector out carefully. There we go. So it now should be in 2 pieces. These slot in together like so. Just going to set that over here. Now for the fire control group itself. The thing to know about this is that you have the spring ends down here, which I'll show in more detail in a bit, that are holding the pins in. So you can't just push the pins out, you're going to have to lift up those spring ends. So just pull those up and push out the pin at the same time. I'm going to start off with the hammer pin. There we go. The hammer pin is out. We can just kind of work that out of there. All right, next pin. And just as kind of a reminder here, this slot on the hammer pin is going to go on the left side of the receiver. So let's go and put it right there like that. Next, let's try removing the trigger pin. There it goes. And on this one, the slot goes on the right side. All right, so just, whoa-wee. And the whole thing just popped up when we did that. There's still one more pin to come out. Well, we have the hammer hook, or the trigger hook, I should say. The trigger. This is the knocker. This is, I believe, the full auto hook. And then we have one last pin to come out. And for this one, the slot is also on the right side. And we have the piece that will prevent us from firing when in before the bolt is back in battery. Don't forget, don't lose the little spring on the bottom here. And that is everything. Everything is now out of the little receiver, except for one component, which I'm not going to remove in this receiver because it's a friction fit. And to remove that piece unnecessarily will loosen it up. So instead I have another brand new receiver. Hasn't been used yet. And you'll notice there is a piece missing in this one. There's a piece right here. All right. You're going to have a separate piece, and this is friction fit, like I said. It's going to go down in like so. Let me line this up so you guys can get a... There we go. So you can kind of see it started down in there, and you have a hole right here in the insert. That is going to line up with the hole for the magazine release. Once you push this all the way down in, it's probably not going to come out very easily without tearing it up. But at that point, you have a little brass tube. After you push it all the way down in, you're going to push, hammer or use a pin punch to push this little tube in to lock the two pieces together and to shield this weak plastic from the constant movement of the magazine release. So you can see this one already has the brass piece in there. Also, as a side note, if you're not sure which side is which, where this little ball cylinder shaped thing goes on the right side. Okay. We can go and remove those pieces and set them back aside. All right, so now up to this point, it's been very easy, but this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, right? At this point, we need to put the fire control group back into the gun. So this is going to take some patience. It is not super hard, so don't be scared. So let's do this. One thing I actually recommend that you get, because it's just gonna make this a little bit easier, get a tube. This came off of a Rem oil can, spray can. And what you're going to use this for is you can place the ends of the springs into this tube, which will allow you to get a good grip on them later and move them around to allow other pins to get into the gun. Extremely useful. Now that we're ready to go, let's do this. So let's start off with the last pin that we did. We're going to go and start off with this pin, which is the front bottom pin. And we also need to insert it through this piece. Now, really the best way to do this kind of stuff, grab a pin punch the same size as the pins that you're removing, and you can use this to line up your components. So go ahead and just put the piece in there, make sure that's working as intended, and now you can line up the pins with each other and push it through. Like so. Very easy, keeps everything lined up. The hardest part to get back in here is the trigger assembly, the trigger itself, I should say. Now this piece, this hook, goes on top, and you can see there is a hole on the bottom where this spring on the trigger goes. So go and line those up. You can see that the holes line up as well. Okay. And the other hook goes in the front like so. Also lined up. All of them together. All right, you can kind of see how this goes. So on the left side, the spring with the shorter side piece is going to go around, and the side piece, the L, is going to go through the hole on the small hook, on the front hook. So you're going to just line those up. And it just goes like that. Okay, on the other side, we have the piece with the longer L, and it's going to go through the hole of the trigger. So around and through the hole of the trigger, you can see that the spring is going to have downward pressure onto the pin in front of it, because that is what is going to hold these pins in. That's the reason that there's slots in the pin. These long legs are going to go in the slots to keep them from coming out. Okay, so now it is the hard part. Let's get this guy in here without making a mess. And actually, I would say go ahead and at this point install the little pipe here. So we can have this setup going on now. Because this is the strongest spring, and it's just a massive pain to try to get it lined up. Okay, and when you have everything in there, just go and get your pin that you had before, your pin punch, and kind of just try to get it in the hole. It's not gonna be easy, especially on your first try or two, but you just kind of wiggle it and try to get it in there. There we go. And now you can see that we're all the way to the other side. And we can try out the trigger. Everything seems to be working as it should. Actually, a part that I did not remove earlier that I just found is we have a ball bearing right here. So this is the ball bearing I was talking about earlier that I thought was on the other side, but it's actually on this one. So let's go ahead and push this ball bearing out where the fire selector is, just so it doesn't pop out on us later. Or it actually has to come out the top. Let's go and do that. I just want to be able to take it out to show you guys, and then also so we don't lose it. So let's put that beside the fire selector. Okay. Now we can finally put in the pin for the trigger. And don't forget, the only pin that should have the slot on the left side is the hammer pin, which we haven't put in yet. Both of these pins should have their slot on the right side. So now we can place the pin punch and the pin together and switch places. Just make sure you do this carefully and slowly. And, you know, it's going to require some finagling. Don't be scared of it, but just be careful. Okay. So it looks like we're not 100% lined up, so we can fix that, and boom. Perfect. Trigger's in, working completely fine. And now we can move on to the hammer. So the hammer composite piece again, this is the front side, or I should say really the top. The knocker is going to go inside where it can slide back and forth so the holes line up. Alright, and the hammer spring, you're going to put it on the right side with the L behind the hammer. Alright, knocker on the inside with the L upwards. Okay. What we actually can do now, we can actually go ahead and remove our little yellow hose here. So I'm going to use this tool to keep it to the right so that way it doesn't go flying off. But this can actually go, there we go. So now it's resting in the slot of the front pin between these two black plastic pieces. Okay, so there's one on the right, one on the left. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's go and get this hammer in here. What you may want to actually go ahead and do before we put the hammer in is you can see the little spring in there on the front of the trigger. I can actually make it move there. So to get the spring up here on the front, that is going to hook onto this hook on the bottom of the knocker. So let's go ahead and attach that first because I think it's going to be really hard to do after the fact. All right, let's go ahead and get some tweezers and there we go. So basically all I had to do was just, I used my tweezers, pulled the spring up, was able to easily hook that on. So you can see right now it is resting on that spring. It is not going to move very easily, but it also helps because now it's perfectly lined up for us to put the hammer on. All right, hammer in. Remember, it's going to be on the right side of the hammer with the L behind the hammer face. Okay? And remember, we want this long arm to go into the right slot on the rear pin. We also, and this is something I had forgotten about, but the leg on the left side here, we need that to be on top of this pin because it needs to fit on the slot. So let's go and pull that up, and maybe I'll see if I can put see if we can put this hose on here. There we go. Yeah, there we go, perfect. Okay, so now we can kind of manipulate that a little bit easier. Yeah, so we can just lift up the spring by pulling on the hose. Okay, now it is the easy part. This one is going to be a little bit simpler, so I'm just going to see if I can push the pin through. Well, yeah, here we go. And we'll go and use the pin punch. There we go. And now the pin easily slides all the way through until the very end. Still have to get on the very end side here. There we go. Okay. And we can release the pin. So now if we push on any of these pins, let's grab this guy. Yep, he's in there tight. He's not going to come out. They move a little bit, but they're supposed to do that. Yep. But basically, the point is these pins are not going to come out on their own. So this is perfect. Let's go and make sure it works. Okay, good. So the battery piece is working, and it released the trigger. Very good. Yeah, that looks perfect. Obviously, we still need the fire selector, so let's go and do that next. Oh, and of course, before you put in the fire selector, don't forget to drop your ball bearing into the hole down here. And probably the easiest way is just going to be through the selector port. And just push that down. There we go. So now you have that ball bearing sitting in the hole right here. Yep, okay. Now we can put in the fire selector. And of course, don't forget, before you can put in the other half, you need to unscrew the scrub screw on the right side. That probably should be far enough. Nope, just a little bit more. Make sure these are facing the same direction. You don't want to make a mistake on that. Okay, and there is no bottom to the scrub screw, so just kind of eyeball it. Make sure that's not sticking out the other side. Yeah, actually just a little bit more. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, now we can put the spring back in this hole, the front one, and the grub screw. It is quite difficult to get in there and then turn the grub screw. I am definitely not a huge fan of this design. Alright, there we go. Basically what I ended up having to do was turn the receiver at the same time as I was turning the Allen key. And there we go, we got it in there. And of course now our selector has proper clicking. So let's go and try the full auto just to make sure this is working. and we let go of it. But if we switch to semi-automatic, okay, good. So now we know that we got this back together correctly, and we can continue doing the reassembly. Next, let's reinstall the rear pin. So to start off with, let's go and put the rear pin in. Then we're going to drop the pointy end down first of this little pin. Okay, drop that in first. Spring next. And then another grub screw like we had over there on the other hole. Oh yeah, and this is definitely the better way of doing it. Just set it against the table, upside down, and then you can just, it gives you a lot better grip. All right, perfect. So we have this end, and if we try to push it all the way out, kind of locks into place, and it goes out, but it won't come all the way out. This is perfect. This is just what we want. Perfect. Okay, next up, let's put the grip back on. You have, of course, the Phillips head bolt, and you have your nut. So go ahead and put that in the side, like so, and the little slot on the side. And if you have a magnetic one, sometimes that should be a pain. Magnetic screwdriver. Don't screw it too tight, because remember, this is still plastic. You don't want anything to be so tight that you damage the plastic. Okay, let's go ahead and reinstall the magazine release spring on the right side. And push the button down far enough so you can re-screw in this clockwise. You want it, obviously you don't want to screw it in so far that the screw is sticking out the other side, so just screw it until you start to feel that coming through, and then you can unscrew it one rotation. So you can see right there, well, you guys might not be able to see it, but it is sticking out and I can feel the screw. Obviously I don't want to feel that in a game, so we're going to unscrew it one rotation. One thing to note here is if your fire selector feels like it's kind of tight and it's not completely closing when you let go of the button, try taking it apart and flipping the button upside down. I just did that and it felt a lot better. It feels a lot better. So something to keep in mind. Kind of strange. I'm not sure why I would do that, but okay. Bolt catch. Go and put that back away, like so. All right, and let's go and reattach the stock. Going to put it, rotate it where the button side is going in first, and then you're rotating in the hinge. More important for this kind of stock than the other one. Skinny side of the pin goes down into the bottom. Make sure you're all the way in. All right, and I just like to use a screwdriver, and you can kind of push this pin, this E-clip on. And there we go. All right, and that is the lower receiver disassembled and reassembled. So let's go and move on to the upper receiver. All right, to remove it, we need to undo these 4 screws. So these 2 and these 2. And it looks like these screws are identical, but just to be on the safe side, I would go ahead and keep track of which screw is which. So kind of just a system like this, place them beside each other. Obviously the front going this way, back going that way, and we can go and get the other side. All right. Now go ahead and flip up the front sight, and you can just pull the barrel assembly out. Just very carefully, we go. Nothing more to really disassemble on this, so we can set that aside. And here is the hop-up casing. Not really the hop-up unit. And you can see that there is a pin in the bottom here. That is what we're going to punch out. Alright, I'm not going to lie, that was probably the worst pin I've ever had to remove. This one pin was probably more of a pain than the entire lower receiver. Man, that thing was really, really stuck in there. Alright, and now we can remove the hop-up and inner barrel from the outer barrel. And also, of course, we have our charging handle and its spring. To remove the charging handle, you just have to punch out these two little pins. Not a big deal. But now we can finally remove the hop-up unit from this chunk of cast metal. And there we go. That is it. Let's go ahead and remove the front wheel off of the hop-up unit. That allows us to pull off this little clip off the bottom, which should allow us to pull out the inner barrel and bucking. And there we go. This is the original hop-up and bucking, and actual inner barrel too. Alright, so finally we're done with that. Let's go ahead and put it back together. Alright, so go ahead and line up the bar on top with the top of the barrel. The clip goes on next. There we go, like so. Okay, and lastly, we can put our wheel on. That goes back inside the evil chunk of metal. And we get the privilege of punching this massive pain of a pin back in. It's possible that this is a one-directional pin. Alright, so go ahead and... Oh, and don't forget to place the charging handle back in whichever hole you want. Left side for right-handed configuration, right side for left-handed configuration. These can go back together. Alright, and I'll be back once I can get this pin back in. And here it is, all back together. Thankfully, it was much easier to put the pin back in than to take it out, so that's good. I'm actually going to re-tighten up some of these other pins because I think how hard I had to punch that one out. Knocked a couple of these loose. Now it can be returned to the upper receiver. Make sure that the front side is up and that the rear holes are all lined up. Yep, that looks pretty much right. And like I said earlier, I lined up all of these screws so I knew which one went where. And I'm also going to only screw them in partially and then do the other side to kind of make sure that we get even pressure from each side. There we go. That looks good. Looking fantastic. All right. And finally, we made it to the last component, the bolt. Very, very simple compared to everything we've done so far. So if you're still with me, let's do this. Going to need a Phillips to remove the recoil spring and a buffer. And you have this little piece of plastic, this little plastic ring that goes between the buffer and the metal. So it's going to go right here. So we're going to set those aside. I would not disassemble this any further than here. And of course you have your rubber ball in the back. You can, there's a pin right here, but I would not do that. Okay, and let's remove the piston. You're going to see that there's a little piece of plastic here, a little block on this side and on this side. So let's go and remove those. Just kind of reach into this little empty space here and you can punch those out real easy. And lastly, you have a grub screw on the back here, and that is securing the spring back here. And you're good to go. So, time to put it back together. All right, what I'd recommend to get the spring back lined up with the screw in the back here is to grab a paper clip or something similar. Let's go and bend this to the shape we need it. It's going to need to be basically perfectly straight. And we're going to need some pliers to make a little hook on one side. And let's try to get a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, so you end up with something like this. I could probably get a little bit straighter actually. But you can see, got a little hook on one end. So we can hook the spring. Okay, so first let's feed this back and through the hole in the rear. Unfortunately, we're not quite straight enough, so we're going to have to straighten this out. And of course, you know, once you've made this tool, you can just keep it around whenever you need it. I think we actually might have to make this little hook end a little bit smaller to make sure that it fits. Let's actually go and make sure that it fits before we try it. Yeah, that fits about perfectly. All right. Okay, and so now you can see that we have the spring out the end. So just line it up and drop the screw through. Once you have it good and tight, you just kind of bring it up and there you go. Now you have your piston fastened back inside. So you can just throw this in your toolbox and you'll be able to easily replace your piston in the future. Alright, now we can put these two little blocks in. If you notice, it's kind of hard to see, but I'm sure you'll be able to see it in person. There is an arrow. That arrow should be facing forward. So go ahead and place those into the side. No real special procedure here. Just make sure that goes in and that it locks in to those slots on the side of the piston. Whew, alright, I'm back. So, unfortunately, I took so long to record this that my camera died. So, we're back. It's charged up again, so let's go and finish this. We just installed the blocks. So now we can go ahead and install the recoil spring and recoil assembly. So go and take the little plastic ring, place that on the rear of the bolt here, and feed the spring guide through. We can go and start to screw in the screw, and there should be a little washer on there, anti-unscrewing thing. We can go and tighten that up. Alright, that seems pretty tight. Alright, let's just make sure that the piston does not rotate very much, and yeah, that looks pretty good. The front pin comes in from the right side of the gun. The flat side, if you notice there's a flat side of the pin, the flat side goes towards the rear of the gun. Flathead screw goes back in. Push the buffer forward so you can push the, oh yeah, and don't forget to push the bottom pin out of the way. All right, and we have completely disassembled and reassembled the GHK G5. This video took a lot of work to make, so I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever about the GHK G5 or about the steps that I took to disassemble and reassemble it, please let me know down in the comments below. Even if you just have a question about gas blowback airsoft guns in general, I enjoy all of your guys' questions, so feel free to ask those as well. So, until the next video, stay safe, guys.